Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure Blackheart. And I know people have wanted a new Blackheart for a very long time, and I'm wondering if this is hitting the spot for people. Because there's some stuff about it that's actually really, really good. Exceptionally good for Hasbro. And then there's some other stuff that's just really not so great. So I'm curious what you guys think going into the review, and then I'd like to know again at the end what you think after the review. But there's definitely some good stuff going on here, so I'm kind of excited to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, so today I don't get to show you my package. We're just going to look at the figure. Now I do have him standing like this because I don't think you're going to be having him completely straight up and down with this type of foot. So we're going to do it like this, and I'll do a comparison so you can see, but I think that's the way people are going to do it. I don't think you would stretch his legs out. So he's about 19 centimeters to about here. I don't want to count all of his hair because that's going to throw off scaling for people that care about the scaling. Let's call it 7.5 inches. Here he is up against Darwin with his legs bent to that degree. So he does have some size to him for sure, and of course you can make him taller by unbending his legs if you wanted to. Alright, so the first thing I want to do before I do anything else, I guess it's not the first thing anymore, but the next thing is here's a quick comparison against the old one. Now, I was going to just say there's no comparison. Don't even consider buying the old one if you have the ability to get the new one. I have no idea what prices are, but the new one is better in almost every way. The only way the old one is better is in the paint job. He has paint. It is definitely better in that sense. I've always thought he's just too lanky and kind of gangly looking and weird, but it was okay for the time. It was great, I guess, but it's just not holding up. So if you ask me, the old one, don't get it. However, the old one was a standard release and this is a BAF. So we're still doing that tiny BAF thing, which is bothersome to me, but if the figure's good, then I guess it doesn't matter. Although I think, here, let's do another question. Do you guys like this wave of figures? To me, I couldn't care less about the wave of figures if not for Blackheart. So that's a thing to consider also, I suppose. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the aesthetic. First thing I have to mention is I really like the shape of his body. I like it a whole bunch. The sculpting they did and the way they cut up the torso other than this ab crunch, really, really nicely done. He's got a nice V shape to him. Let's see, he's so dark plasticky that it's hard to film. Yeah, I really, really like this area in particular. This abdominal section makes him look so good. And look how broad those shoulders are. Nowhere near the width of the hips. So good. And the hips tuck in rather than sticking out. Who was that? Wolverine. Look at this. I'm going to bring it back up just because it's such a glaringly obvious problem. And Blackheart demonstrates it perfectly. Look at those hips here. See how this sticks out and he's got these weird birthing hips and a narrow chest and how goofy that looks? Yeah, I know it's live action, but still, Hugh Jackman doesn't look like that. Look at this. Oh man, it's such a better look. It's so much better looking to have him not look ridiculous. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. So yeah, the torso, the body shape, way, way, way better. The anatomy sculpting in the details, really good. He's got a nice organic look to his legs. There's actually some meat where it belongs. It pinches in at the knees. He's got a little bit of, he's skinny, but he's got a little bit of meat in the calf, and then it pinches in again. The shoulders and arms, much better positioning. They're broader, like I said. They do sit a little bit higher than we're used to. That's a good thing. The arms are good. So, yeah, it's generally a really nice sculpt. It's kind of annoying to put together because his little spikies are quite spiky for being so small, especially popping in these shoulders, like this one right here. Hasbro did that on purpose. You have to push these shoulders in pretty darn hard, and they put a spike, a pretty big one right there. Anyway, and there's some more over here. It was unpleasant, but it does look pretty good. Now, there is this issue. There are two issues, two main issues for this guy in terms of the aesthetic. One, no paint on the body at all. Easy fix, get some navy blue / purple, like an indigo color. You can just dry brush on this guy and it'll look good. So that'll be fine. He's got a lot of texture on him, so you could do that easily. But he is not painted, so that really is cheap and crappy, especially since his hair is painted. And he doesn't typically have a differentiation like that across his body, so that sucks. So yeah, no paint down here at all. This paint up here, if it was continued throughout, would look great. He's so dark, it's really, really hard to show this properly. But yeah, this throughout would have been wonderful. So there's that. And then there's also the issue of the bulk. Now, I don't think he needs to be bulkier. He can be. He has been. I think we'll leave it at this brightness. That looks okay. He has definitely been bulkier than this. I don't think it's necessary. I do think the head's too big. Not this part, because that's fine. But the head itself, this part, should be smaller for this build. And he's got a little bit, like, you don't notice it at first because at the front it doesn't stick up too high, but he's got this weird lollipop situation where the head really needs to sit down a little bit lower. This gap in here that you can see from the side, they did that, I guess, so that you can lean his head up, but he can't really lean his head up anyway, and the head looks like it sits too high. So that's a problem. I think a few tiny tweaks make him look wonderful. But even as is, his body looking the way it does helps a lot. This shape right here, and the shoulders not being so low and tiny, makes such a difference. But man, it looks so much better than most of the figures they release. Head is definitely still weird though. It just looks a little dorky, and even though they nailed it from the front, it's like Hasbro's sculptors don't ever look at the figures from the side. They have no mass. No front to back mass at all. This guy's a little chunkier front to back, and it makes a huge difference. That's not the shape of pec muscles that look like that from the front. They should definitely be sticking out more from the side. Same thing for the back. Same thing for almost everything. They don't have enough mass front to back, and I think that hurts figures in posing because you're not looking at them just in an A pose. But yeah, he does look really good. Needs paint. A few issues here and there, but I'm gonna go. Well, he's a BAF, man. If he was a standard release, I'd say like 8.5, because the body's great mostly. But he's a BAF. I'll still say 8. I really, really, really like this right here. So much better than normal. Alright, for accessories, you just get the 2 open hands. You get 1 fist hand and 1 finger hand, so that's fine. Like, I mean, another head would be nice. They're putting almost no effort into BAFs, so I'll just go a generous 7. Okay, but let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. So the head... Oh man, these spikes are so spiky. It's pointy. The ball peg sucks, man. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. It's not as bad as not having a ball peg, don't get me wrong. But there's like no range. No range at all for no freaking reason. Oh man. So yeah, the head sits too high and there's no real range. You get some. Man, this plastic is not working. If they had painted it, it would be so much easier to film. So, yeah, you get to wiggle his head side to side. Rotation, of course, is there. But it's just really, really limited. Yeah, it's not great for the head. Now, the butterflies on this guy, let's see if they work. They work really well. That's nice. I like that. They go forward and back. They don't go back as far as I would like, but they do work nicely. And that's a pretty good butterfly. I don't hate that. That's all right. Shoulders. Every joint on this guy does this, by the way, except for the neck, or at least all the ones I've messed with. I thought maybe I didn't have him pushed in all the way. I can't push him in any farther, and it was doing it no matter what. All of the joints are binding, and I'll show you the torso. It's even worse. I really, really feel like that could break off, so that's a problem. And I don't mean feel like emotionally. I mean it feels like it could break off. But the ball hinge works normally, so that's fine. Bicep swivel is loose. I shouldn't say all the joints, by the way. So bicep swivel is loose. Double jointed elbow is fine. That's a good elbow. A little bit cumbersome and weird looking, but it's okay. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. This joint right here. Oh my goodness. It's like a 90s figure. It'll eventually catch, but oh man, it feels like it's gonna break. And I feel like it really is gonna snap off as I'm doing it. If you go forward and back and wiggle it as you turn, it'll be okay. But it definitely, if you just twist it, it's going to be a problem. Leaning is not great on this, but it's not bad, so that's good. Going forward, pretty limited. Going back is okay. But then you get this one down here, which he still can't go back very far because of his hair, but you can go that far back. So it works. And then going forward is okay. It's still not right. You need to have rotation under the crunch. Hasbro, under the crunch. On top too, fine, but it needs to go under, and this could just easily be a ball peg. A single or a double ball peg right here with this joint that actually functions properly solves all your problems. It would look better, and it would function better. This is okay as is, except for this. The kung fu action that they built in on accident. Alright, for the hips, they go forward far enough. They go back a little bit out to the side, no problem. Solid hips for sure. Thigh swivel is fine. Could be a little tighter, I guess. Double jointed knees are fine. Still don't like the faceted joints, but whatever. Hasbro's not going to get any better at that. And then for the ankles, hope this isn't too bright. Like, it's going to be too bright everywhere but the figure. I don't know what to do about that, guys. It's not my fault Hasbro uses bare plastic for everything and it just sucks up the light. So his ankles are really loose on those pegs. You see that? Oh, that's questionable. That's super questionable. You get decent range out of the joint, of course. There's nothing in the way. And the ankle rocker is useless. They really could have put a little bit more thought into that. Bring that down into the foot so the ankle rocker at least serves some purpose. So yeah, that kind of sucks. And then his tail is bendy, but not really. Like, holy crap. It's really barely bendy at all. So that sucks. Okay, so his articulation kind of blows. The ideas are decent enough except for the torso and the ankles, but 6. He's not going to pose great because the tail doesn't work. This doesn't work, or I mean, it might break. It doesn't work that well. Yeah, it's not good. Not good. It looks good, but it doesn't actually pose as well as you would think it would. Yeah, those joints are such a problem. Look at that. And I pushed him all the way in. He's not disconnected. He's in there. None of the joints want to go. Not none. Again, I'm over-exaggerating, but whatever. Okay, so yeah, it's a good release. It needs a lot of work to make it a really good release. If you don't care about the articulation issues, throw some purple paint on there, and he's going to look really, really good. But yeah, he could be a lot better. It's like Hasbro doesn't put enough effort into... Even when they put a lot of effort in, it's just... I think they're inept. I think that's what it is. The Marvel Legends team, either they don't care, or they're not good. It's almost always one of the two. And I think the not caring thing is more of it than not being able to. Yeah. But this one, it's better than I thought it was going to be. So it's unfortunate that it has these shortcomings, like the tail, for instance, being unposable. Whatever. Okay, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm going to give it an 8. It really needs paint, though. Like, it's just so cheap. It's so cheap. I don't know, 8 feels strong. You know what? This right here is an 8. In terms of looks, but I'm gonna give it a 7. It's a BAF, and they couldn't put any paint on the body. Not okay. That bothers me a lot. So, I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm really torn on this one. But that's it for me. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So, make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.